Hey everyone, I'm Lane. Welcome to my channel. So, I don't usually update unless, of course, it's either something very big, which means it's also very important, or it's just a monthly update of me being on tea. Well, oh boy, do I have some amazing news to tell everyone. Okay, so I got some notes upside down. So, yesterday was my second gender identity clinic with the Gender Services in Wales. I'm situated in Wales, so I use them. And oh boy, I I'm still like struggling to believe what happened yesterday happened. I'm like, no, no, it can't. And I my eye is watering because I'm like going to probably cry again. And I don't usually cry, but I'm just like so emotional right now. So it was with the lovely doctor, Dr. Quinney, and she's a lovely person. Absolutely can't recommend her high enough. She's really good. And we started talking, what happened since my last appointment, which was 6 months ago in November. The changes that have happened with me with on testosterone, life changes, things like that. Yes, my hair is bright neon yellow. It's a mess at the moment. I don't know what it's doing. It looks like I've been electrocuted. So maybe I should go get it cut, but I don't want to. Not yet. Anyway, I rambled. And then she was like, "So you're on Testogel right now?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was, "Are you happy to stay on Testogel, or do you want to go into injections?" And this is one of the things I've wanted to talk about because even though Testogel is good for regulating the level because you get the same amount every single time, it stays constant. I'm finding it might just be me. It might just be the fact that testosterone works very slowly. I just I'm not comfortable on the gel anymore. One of the main reasons is lions. I can sleep in until about 10:30, but then I wake up terrified that I haven't taken my testosterone. And so I hate the fact that my mind is constantly just going, "You haven't taken it. Have you taken it yet? Did you take it?" So every morning I wake up earlier than usual to put on the testosterone to then go back to bed, which is not a good thing because then I can't fall back to sleep. So I'm looking forward to have a light in for once. So that's something that's happening. So she's going to speak to my doctor on my local team, who is she's writing him a letter saying that she's authorizing him to put me on libido. I was like not expecting. I was expecting her to put me on sustanon straight away, but she goes, "Nah, we'll put you on libido," and I'm like, "Isn't that the one that's got like 2 months or so of testosterone in one shot?" Great. So I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not scared of needles like I used to be. Like when I was younger, if you came near me with an injection or an IV drip or a vaccination or blood test, I kid you not, I would scream, I would cry, I would tantrum. I was literally the kid you never wanted to meet when it comes to injections. I am not that person anymore. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to have an injection, I'm fine with it now. I've like grown up to the point that I'm like, if you're going to stick a needle in me, just stick it in me. Just get it over and done with. I'm not going to think about the fact that there's a little needle going boom or in libido. I know I don't. I believe libido goes in your butt, so I'm going to get stabbed in the butt every now and again, which I'm fine with. My butt isn't that sensitive. It's a bit squishy at the moment, though. Too much information. So, anyway, so the number one change is libido. I'm going to be taking libido instead of gel. But the big news, the news that blew my mind. I mean, literally, my mind was like boom, and like, wait, what? No, seriously, nah. She spoke to me about top surgery, which is my number one to do list with my transition. I should say transformation. Then it is technically a transformation, but transition. And that's the one thing that I've wanted ever since I can remember. Like ever since female puberty started for me, and these things on my chest started growing. I haven't liked them at all. I did go through a phase where I was like, oh, I wish they were bigger because I thought if they were bigger and they're more prominent, I'd maybe feel more feminine, and then I wouldn't, feel this disconnect with my body. Wouldn't feel like I'm not correct. I shouldn't be this body type or this in this body. So I thought, you know what, maybe wear a bigger bra, maybe push up bra, and maybe makeup and have my hair long and wear dresses and heels. I thought if I went through that phase, that that would sort me out. I would feel female. I would feel female. It did the exact opposite. It actually made me worse. I hated it. I hated it to the point that when I first got my first binder, I did not want to wear a bra ever again. And so top surgery for me, around about 14, I'd say, is when I was like, that's when I was like, I don't want, no. And then I went through a phase, I was like, maybe I'll try it. And then I'm like, no, definitely not, definitely not. And then she goes, well, we have two options. And I'm like, two options? She goes, you can either go through a list of people who do top surgery in England, because Wales doesn't have any places or people who perform top surgery. Wales, you need to get on that shit. You need to get on that, Wales. So it's going to be in England, but I could have gone through a list of people, researched it, and then go back to them and be like, this is the person I'd like, and this is where I'd like to go. Or they can refer me to the people that they suggest people to be referred to, which is Parkside Hospital in London. And she said London is from where I live, I have a direct line from here by train straight to London. No hesitation, just straight to London from here. And then I can then catch the underground from main London place to the freaking where the hospital is, which is in Wimbledon. I can do that. So I was like, London. She goes, yeah, it's a really good place. The hospital itself is a private hospital, but the NHS rent out rooms there. Like, they rent out beds for you to go and have your surgery. There's two surgeons, One is Victoria Ross, who she described to me as like a Pink, the singer Pink, the amazing woman, literally just the most amazing badass woman I've met. I've not met her, but she's like the most badass person I know, basically. She's a lot like Pink in her personality, the way she dresses, the way she rides a scooter to work. And if that doesn't say you're awesome, I don't know what will. And she goes, she's got a really nice bedtime manner. Or you could end up with Catherine Mills, someone. I can't quite remember the name. My brain was struggling to proceed to acquire information, and my hand was like trying to write it at the same time. I was like, hold on. So, but Catherine Mill is a standard general surgeon in her demeanour, as in she is very strict. She doesn't have a bedside manner. But to be honest with you, I kind of prefer that in a surgeon, because I don't like being coddled, basically. If there's a surgeon who's literally like, do X, Y, Z, boom, sorted, done, I'm more likely to be like, sorted. I know exactly what to do because you told me exactly, and there's no like anything like that. So if I end up with Catherine, I'm great. If I end up with Victoria, I'm great. I'm fine with either. And then she goes to me, right, okay, I will put you on the waiting list to have top surgery. And I was like, isn't top surgery like they've got like a long backlog or something, like because of the pandemic? And she goes, no. They've actually caught up quite a lot. And I'm like, okay. Because I was thinking I'd had like a couple of years or so. And then she goes, do you have support to like get down to the hospital and get back from the hospital? And like when you're home from the hospital, do you have support from people to look after you? Because you won't be able to like lift your arms up high. You won't be able to do much. You'll be like recovery and everything. And I was like, yeah, no, I got support. I got a friend who's coming down with me, Matthew. Hopefully he can get the time off. He's coming down to video the entire thing, like video me waking up, going down there, going to the hospital, leaving the room into the surgery, and then coming out of the surgery, and then being like, when I wake up when I'm out of recovery suite into my actual room that I'll be in, because it will be private. It will be a room because it's a private hospital. They're all rooms, so I'll be in there recuperating, and he's going to film everything, like aftermath and everything, and then he's going to film me coming home and all that lot. So he's coming down with me, whenever it is, and I've got my friend Rhiannon, who has agreed to move in basically with me for a couple of weeks or so and look after me while I'm healing, because I probably won't be able to do much myself, but she said she'll look after me, so that's great. So I've got support. I've also got Gemma down the road, so if Rhiannon has to go somewhere or something and I need help, Gemma's down the road. Jane is down the road. She'll freaking call on me and everything. She'll make sure I'm perfectly fine. I know Jane will. Love Jane to pieces. Love Gemma to pieces. Love Matthew to pieces. Love Rhiannon to pieces. Love Amy to pieces. My best friends. They're all my best friends. Well, Jane is my auntie, but she's also one of my closest friends. So, yes. It will be double incision. Even though I'm not big chested, I do have a chest. So it'll be double incision, which I'm okay with, because the scars will heal, they'll fade, and then she goes, you got a choice. You can either have your nipples reattached afterwards, but there is a chance that they could die or get infected, or you can have 3D tattooing of a nipple on your chest, on your freaking chest. Once everything's healed, they'll do that, and that's free on the NHS. They'll do that for you, or you can just not have your nipples put back on. And I have wanted a chest piece for a very long time, years in actual fact. So I'm not going to have my nipples reattached, because when I get my chest piece, I don't think that you won't be able to see the nipples anyway, because they'll be covered by the tattoo. So what's the point of having them? And not only that, my nipples are actually inverted. So my nipples are inside, not outside. So I've literally lived my entire life without nipples, basically. Well, not outward nipples. So I don't really want them back. That's just something I don't really prefer to have my nipples back, because I've lived 31 years without them. I can live another, however long I live, 4 years without them. So that's something that's going to happen. I'm on the waiting list. If I don't hear anything from Parkside by Christmas, give them a ring to make sure that I'm on the waiting list. Which means I've got 5 months to find out to get confirmation that I'm on the waiting list from them. My doctor, Dr. Quinney, is also writing me a passport letter so I can get my passport changed and my gender changed. So I'm officially I'm already officially Lane Matthew Wood Tomlinson, male. I'm male on my on my driving license, but now I'm actually going to have male. My hair is annoying me. I'm actually going to have male on my passport. I'm going to be male on one of the most legal documentations you can get. My mind is like, shit, no. Really? Fuck. So, yeah. My name. We did speak about hysterectomies and lower surgery, and I do want to have a hysterectomy, even though once my levels of T get within range, because at the moment they're not in range, because I'm not right now. I'm on medication to stop the monthly gift from Mother Nature that all female people get. And not all female get them, actually, because there are some females who are cisgendered females who don't get periods, and there are some that do. So when I say female, I include trans people in that. Male to female people I include in female, because they are female. I'm male and they are female. Anyone disagrees with that, don't comment on my video, because I will ignore you and I will block you, because that is not fair, that is hatred, and I'm not about that. So we spoke about hysterectomy, because on T, it will shrivel up your ovaries and everything will shrivel up. So there are quite a few trans men, I'm going to call them men because they are men, they don't option to have a hysterectomy because they're men, and they're like, well, I'm a man, I know I'm a man, I look like a man, I sound like a man, I am a man, and I don't really care about the fact that I have these, so I'm just going to leave them. But I want to have a hysterectomy, and that's something I've wanted for a while, for a good few years as well, again. But yeah, so I'm going to have, so I will have another appointment with them in about 2 years' time, after my top surgery will be done by then. And I will be healing. I'd have healed for a while after that. So then we'll talk about hysterectomy. And I did speak to them that I wanted to have lower surgery, genital surgery. And they're like, yeah, what's your time frame to having lower surgery? Because it's quite a few years, like, on the waiting list and stuff. And I was like, my 5 years is roughly when I'm thinking of like putting put on the waiting list for it, because in 5 years male puberty would be done with. Puberty only lasts 5 years. Female puberty and male puberty is 5 years roughly. So in 5 years' time, I will be over. My puberty will be done basically. So then we'll talk about that. So, but I might see if I can get my hysterectomy at the same time as having stage 1 genital surgery. Which, if I can get those both done at the same time, two birds, one stone, and I'll be so much happier. Because that's one thing I did speak to the doctor about, and that is that I find that knowing that I have female organs, like the ovaries and, well, yeah, the uterus and stuff, I find that knowing that I got that causes me quite a bit of dysphoria. Because even though they're not going to get used ever, the fact that they're there, my brain is acutely aware that they're there, and I don't want to be aware of it. I'd rather they're gone. So I'm going to get a hysterectomy, and I'm going to get lower surgery. But that is like 5 years from now. So 5 years. Well, they said it'll be in 2 years for follow-up, but they said they'll chat once the chest is done, which makes me think that the chest is going to be about a year from now. Which I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest with you. A year from now. I'm like, part of me is like, oh my God, it's finally happening. Yes, 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 yes. But there's a part of me that's going, it's happening. Oh, okay. Oh boy. It's like it's like you wanted something for so long. When you finally get it, you just don't know how to react. You're like, yeah. Like, you're in two minds, basically. And that's what I'm like. My brain is, like, still buzzing from finding this out. But there's a part of me that's like, oh, God, it's going to happen. And I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait for this to happen. I know that when I get my confirmation that I'm on the waiting list, and then when I get my letter saying when my consultation will be, I will probably be like an absolute bag of freaking nerves. I'll be like, jittery, completely jittery. I'll be like, I'm not on caffeine or anything. I'm just really nervous. I mean, I've had quite a few surgeries before, so I'm alright with having. I'm okay with general anaesthetic. There's no problem with me in general anaesthetic, and never been a problem. So I'm alright with surgeries because I've been through quite a few. I've been through a heck of a lot of surgeries, so I'm okay. So there's nothing to worry about in that sense. So. Watch this space, everyone. Like, I can't believe this is happening. I've also noticed my hands have gotten fat. Like, you can see my little dent from where my knuckles are. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because I do technically still have this eating disorder. It's never going to go away. I'm just learning to eat more. I'm like forcing myself to eat more. But I haven't been putting on weight. I have been putting on weight. And I'm like, it's weird for someone who's used to be able to go like that and you still see their knuckles to suddenly go like that and be like, I don't see a knuckle. I just see an indent, like a little indent where the knuckle would be because my hands are fat. My hands are fat. That was random. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyway, I will sign off and I'll leave you all. But watch this space. Good news, good news, good news. I'm going to celebrate, 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 celebrate.